What's up, everybody? It's Corey, host of the Grease Pole Podcast, and wanted to continue our coverage of Super Bowl 57. And yesterday we broke down and kind of ranked the All-22 for the Eagles offense and the Chiefs defense. So today it's the flip side. Chiefs offense, Eagles defense. So the premise of this is not necessarily who's going to have the biggest impact on the game, or it's more or less a power rankings based off of just pure talent at the position, kind of who's the best player. In all honesty, it's a straight up power ranking. It's not matchup based necessarily or anything like that. So yeah, who doesn't love a good list? I know we do. And if you like lists as well, or if you're an Eagles fan, whatever the case may be, hit the subscribe button. Really appreciate those that have so far, and we look forward to bringing you more Super Bowl content as we approach February 12th. Kickoff this coming Sunday. So again, yesterday was Eagles offense, Chiefs defense. So we're going to go with the flip side this time. And we start 22-1. Who wants to start a countdown at number one, right? Kind of defeats the purpose. So we're going to start this time. Number 22, Kazir White. And the former Chargers linebacker has been a nice offseason pickup by Howie Roseman, which is a theme here with this Eagles team this year. And White's helped the Eagles linebacking core become more respectable and more versatile, but he's shown some vulnerability in coverage, and that could translate to easy gains for Travis Kelce. Number 21, Kadarius Toney. The Chiefs brought him in, the Giants' first-round pick a year ago, and when he's not dinged up, he's really fun to watch. There's a reason he was a first-rounder. The problem is he's seemingly always injured. He tweaked his ankle in the AFC Championship, but all indications are that he'll be good to go for the Super Bowl. Number 20, Andrew Wiley. Kansas City brought him in via free agency a couple years ago from Indianapolis, and he's kind of the proverbial Dusty Rhodes forehead, kind of leaky along the Eagles' offensive line, and Haason Reddick could be in for a very big night come February 12th. Number 19, Marcus Epps. This dude's come a long way. He's a blue-collar guy that's a good tackler, but he can be vulnerable in coverage as well. 18, Marquez Valdes-Scantling. And his first year with the Chiefs, he was Mahomes' kind of de facto go-to guy in the AFC Championship game against Cincinnati. His speed is necessary in this Kansas City offense this side of Tyreek Hill, and it's something that could be an issue for this Eagles secondary. Number 17, Fletcher Cox. And one thing comes to mind when I think of Fletch. How Toby Keith said it, I ain't as good as I once was, right? And this definitely applies to Fletch, but even though he's on the back nine, he's still in rotation for Jonathan Gannon, and he's still capable of collapsing that pocket when 91's in the game. 16, Isaiah Pacheco. The 7th-round rookie out of Rutgers has caught on down the stretch for KC, and he's got kind of a throwback style of running the ball. He's tough, and he's big for a running back. He's entirely different a style of running back than Clyde Edwards-Helaire was or that Jerick McKinnon is. And if the game dictates that the Chiefs should run the ball, Pacheco's going to be key for the Chiefs offense. 15, Juju Smith-Schuster. And look, I'll be honest, I've never been a big Juju guy. He's garnered more notoriety for fucking TikTok than anything he's ever done on the field, and he's got a catchy name. He felt like he was a perfect fit on the Steelers because the Steelers like that type of shit. So it feels out of place having him on a team like the Chiefs. But he injured his knee in the AFC Championship, but he's going to be good to go for the Super Bowl. 14, Brandon Graham. At 34 years old and coming off a torn ACL, BG's had the best year of his career with career high in sacks. He's one of the Eagles, one of the 4 Eagles that's got double digits. He doesn't have as prominent a role as he did for Super Bowl 52, but he's as good as he's ever been still at this point in his career. 13, Orlando Brown Jr. Playing this year on the franchise tag. He's had a solid year, but the Bengals kind of exposed him in the AFC Championship. If you get after him with speed, he struggles. And with Josh Sweat's first step, Brown could have his hands full. 12, TJ Edwards. The former Wisconsin Badger is criminally underrated, and it's easy to overlook him among Haason Reddick and the talent along that defensive line. But Edwards is fast, and he's having a career year. He's the Eagles' highest graded linebacker this year, and for good reason. 11, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Look, he's a big reason the Birds are here, and Gardner-Johnson's also enjoyed the best year of his career. He's a free agent after this game, so he's somebody that could cash in big time, especially if he shows up here just as he has all year. And he'll be a chess piece that Jonathan Gannon will use to try and neutralize Travis Kelce, and he's somebody that could also complicate the night for Patrick Mahomes. 10, Javon Hargrave. Yet another pending free agent for the Birds and another guy that's had his best season of his NFL career. Part of the double-digit sack club. He can collapse the pocket and frustrate Mahomes on passing downs. It's going to be a blast to watch these battles on the interior of the Eagles' defensive line against the Chiefs' offensive line. Speaking of, number 9, Trey Smith. The Chiefs got fucking incredible value from Smith in the 6th round in 2021. He and Joe Thuney form an elite tandem at guard, and he's improved in pass pro this year, and he's done so when he was already a mauler in the running game. 8, Josh Sweat. All year long, we've been saying him and Haason Reddick have been consistently causing chaos for opposing QBs. They've been, in their own way, the two most consistent players on this Eagles defense. And as we said, he's got a great first step. He's got great length, and he can bend that edge. And he has an incredibly favorable matchup against Orlando Brown. 7, Darius Slay. It's been since the days of Lito Shepherd and Sheldon Brown that the Eagles have had a great tandem at corner. And Slay's the guy with tenure now, and he's only gotten better by the year since he's been in Philly. The Birds are going to need him to be at his best here to help complicate matters for Mahomes. But if he can shut down Justin Jefferson, he should be able to lock in on these Chiefs receivers. 6, James Bradbury. Yet another awesome offseason addition by Howie Roseman. Bradbury and Slay form the best tandem of corners in the NFL and are a big reason why that defensive line racked up 70-plus sacks on the year. He and Slay both excel at PBUs and can jump routes, which is a huge contributor to the Eagles ranking first in forced incompletions and interceptions on the season. We make our way into the top 5 with number 5, Joe Thuney. And, he was a force for years in New England. Thuney was an outstanding pickup by Kansas City before the 2021 season. He's got a high football IQ. He's top-notch in the run and in pass pro. And his talent and veteran leadership are why the interior of this Chiefs offensive line is such a strength. 4, Creed Humphrey. He reminds me of a young Jason Kelce. I played center. I fucking love watching Creed Humphrey play. He's so intelligent and he can do everything at a high level. He's already one of the best centers in the NFL in only his 2nd season. He's only going to keep getting better, much like Jason Kelce. Number 3, Haason Reddick. Of all the moves Howie Roseman made this past offseason to get the Eagles back in the Super Bowl, Haason Reddick is perhaps the biggest feather in his cap. He's the defensive equivalent of the A.J. Brown trade. Reddick posted a career-high 16.5 sacks in his first year in Philly. He went to Temple, so he was geeked to come back. He was vital in the NFC Championship game with 2 sacks. He's a strip sack machine, and he's got an extremely favorable matchup against Andrew Wiley. So both Sweat and Reddick have favorable matchups in this game, something to keep an eye on. Number 2, Travis Kelce. Easily the best tight end in the NFL today and possibly the best of all time. He's one of the guys, the handful in this game that's headed to Canton 5 years after he retires. He's a dominant player, as dominant as anybody at their position as anybody in the league. And once he and Mahomes get in rhythm, it's hard to stop these motherfuckers. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. And look, was there really any doubt who'd have the top spot here when you involve the Chiefs offense, right? We'll see what happens with the ankle. If it's legit and lingering, it could be a problem against the Eagles pass rush. But ever since he took over as a Chief starter in 2018, he's been the best in the NFL. And even his off games are far from the worst shit you'll ever see. What makes Mahomes so tricky is his ability to throw from any angle, off his back foot, across his body. Shit that's fundamentally fucked and somehow make it work. He does shit that Brett Favre did and cost him games, right? But Mahomes is able to pull it off. But much like Tampa did in Super Bowl 55, if you collapse the inside of the pocket on him, you can fluster the fuck out of him. And you could probably say that about any quarterback. But this Super Bowl has two of the finalists for MVP at quarterback. So both guys are going to be a factor, obviously, but it's undoubtedly Mahomes who's the superior quarterback in this matchup. So there's the rankings. Chiefs offense against the Eagles defense when the Chiefs have the ball. Let us know your thoughts on the rankings. Do you have rankings of your own? Leave them below in the comments section, and we'll be sure to check them out. It's Super Bowl week, Eagles fans, and we'll continue to bring you content covering Super Bowl 57 leading up to kickoff, so be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any Super Bowl content. And then after that, we've got a ton of content coming your way on the NFL Draft in April. Don't forget about the flagship as well, the mothership, baby, the Grease Pole Podcast, which comes your way each and every Monday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, or wherever it is that you get your podcasts. It's also simulcast here on our YouTube channel. See the playlist, Grease Pole Podcast episodes. Thanks for joining us. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and then tell an Eagles fan about us. Won't you spread the word of the Grease Pole? Might be very fitting come Sunday night. Knock on wood. Anyway, right? We'll see you next time. As always, go Birds.